All right. Welcome, 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 everyone. Welcome to this global miracle call on this beautiful February day, a day after a week of celebrating love in all the different forms. And on today's call, we have a theme actually. So today, if you're new, we're gathering around ancient secrets of a master healer. These ancient secrets, which if you discover even one of the secrets, can change your life forever. Today's call, Carol Ray has a story that is so remarkable. Devananda is going to interview her, and she truly is an example of letting love guide. The opening quote in the book, I didn't come to teach you, I came to love you, and love will teach you. I don't know if there's a better example actually on the planet of anyone that I've met. Because of Carol's love, so many things have come into existence. Actually, she was there when the book was launched in Japanese, which is part of her story, I think. She helped create the Ancient Secrets for Pets, Ancient Secrets cookbook, along with many of you in the community, and then also the Ancient Secrets for kids, along with Heidi. And it's so fun to see some of these in different languages. This is the cookbook in Portuguese, and we have the kids book in so many languages. And it's fun actually to see her journey. And then as a part of this Ancient Secrets community, actually to meet oftentimes those you love, your family, your friends. Last time that I was here in Austin, I'm here again. Today we have a pulse clinic. It's so fun. Carol will be here later today, and we're hosting some amazing people coming. Last time, me and a friend, Sebastian, were able to go meet her daughter and really just have such a magical experience. Meet her son. Earlier, I came to one of the pulse clinics and hopefully see him today. And, I, I say often, speaking about love, I say often this is a love story, but it wasn't a romantic love story. It's a story of love from my father that pushed me beyond being a skeptic, beyond being overly critical, into a world that now I see things look like miracles every day. On Valentine's Day, it was a sensitive day. Last week, my sister Rebecca came on the call and she just talked about how in our family it's a really tricky day sometimes because it's an anniversary of when my oldest sister took her life. And so, it's like remembering the preciousness of life, the gift of life, and the things that matter most. And there was a lot of other things that happened this week that really carved out different space in my heart to see ways in which I haven't been letting love in, or letting, like, where I'm scared actually. Sometimes I'm really scared to love. Even though, like, I'm an example of it, like I speak this because it's my own medicine that I need myself. And so I'm really grateful for today's call, for Carol to be in her presence, to hear her story, to have Devananda, and so grateful for those who are guiding the technical aspects, Robin and Cornelia behind the call, Vinay, who's helping organize everything. And, I know we have some announcements. We want to welcome everyone that's new. On Valentine's Day, I actually decided just to spend it by myself and just kind of go inside. And the only thing I did was this breathwork experience. And it was really beautiful. There was an artist there named Carlos who had made this painting, and he was going to raffle it off to anyone who came. And so I had a raffle ticket, and he explained this painting. The name of it is Love Consciousness Rising. And all of a sudden I was like, oh my goodness, I don't even really have a home, but I feel like I'm going to get that painting. And they raffled it off, and first of all, and the person who won it was his own sister, and she's like, no, it should be for someone else. And then picked another person that also wasn't there, and then third time it was me. And that's what this painting is here. It's this beautiful representation of love consciousness rising, and it was beautiful to get it on that day and to have be a little symbol that what if we can learn today? What if we can learn better how to let love in and let love guide us? And the quote that's guiding today's whole meditation from this book, or this whole call, is two of the greatest obstacles to love, actually, two of the greatest obstacles to seeing ourselves or others clearly, is fear and ego. It's both fear and ego. And so today's a real invitation to allow yourself to see, where is this holding you back? It's an invitation from me to allow myself to see, where is fear and ego holding me back from allowing this magical force on the planet and in your life to guide you. And I'm so excited for you to be on this call. There's no accident that you're here right now, and whatever you're going through, whatever experience that you're having, that this moment you're giving yourself, whether you're watching this as a recording or whether it's live, to excavate, to open up, oh, even the dark corners that you have been guarded and say, okay, what if we let some light shine in there? And what happens in that space? So with a lot of love, anticipation, and just presence, I invite you to open your heart today as we hear from Carol Devananda, and to be open to share as well in the breakout rooms in the community section, to allow yourself to be maybe perhaps even more vulnerable than you've ever been, and to see what happens as you trust that in that space that you will be held. So Carol, turning it over to you. Thank you so much for all your presence, your love. Actually, maybe I should turn it over to Devananda. I'm not sure.
How about if we start with Katie and let her do announcements? We'll get that out.
Oh, great idea.
Okay. Katie.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, day, moment, as Carol Ray says to us. First, just if anybody's new, would you let us know in the chat, and welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. What a really special introduction, Dr. Clint. Thank you for sharing your vulnerability. It is so scary sometimes to really be fully open to love. And I just want to say that being part of this community for the last 4 years or so has really helped me to do that. And it's a journey. And I'm so glad to get to do it with all of you, with the love and support that's here. It's an amazing community. So that wasn't part of the announcements. Big announcement is the gathering in Sedona happening June 10th, 11th, and 12th. And we can learn more about that next Sunday. There will be a special informational breakout room about the Sedona event. And in a minute, I'm going to ask Susan if she'll talk about that. But what's happening in Sedona besides the gathering is on the 9th at 7 p.m., there's going to be a celebration of the graduates of the 3-year practitioner training program, the PATH program, and super excited for all of you who will be graduating and get to be there to celebrate that. There will also be opportunities for pulse readings in Sedona, June 5th through the 8th. And I hope somebody will put up a link for that in the chat so that can happen. There are going to be 2 different detox opportunities coming up that are guided with Deborah Ann, who is an amazing teacher and guide for these detoxes. There's a 7-day detox that is starting, March 3rd. And then the 30-day detox is starting March 21st. I almost said 31st, but then it would be over before it even started. So it's actually starting on the 21st. We also have some self-guided courses that start whenever you want. And there is a 7-day detox option for that. There's also Ancient Secrets 101, which is kind of an introductory course for what the Ancient Secrets is about and some basics. And then for more in-depth learning, I mean, really a deep dive into the Ancient Secrets is the Self-Guided 100 Days course, which is so full of information, transformation. It's wonderful. We also have our next art time coming up March 12th. So art time is it's an opportunity. It's so much fun to get together to create and learn and just be together and share that creativity and talking. And it's always wonderful. The next one is March 12th with Leonore, who might talk about it if she's here. It's at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. There's a $5 donation that's requested. You can certainly give more. All of the money goes to the Ancient Secrets Foundation that supports our children in Nepal in the orphanages. And so now circling back, Susan, would you be willing to talk just for a moment about the Sedona gathering?
Sure.
Thanks.
Excuse me. Thanks, Katie. Well, hi, everybody. I think most of you know that the name of our gathering is Now is the Time, because now is the time, no better time to say yes to coming together in order to really become your best self. And there's no better place to become your best self than in community. And this is such a profound, loving community. So next week, Joe and I are going to be hosting next week. And right after the call, there will be a breakout room just for those people who have any questions. If you're on the fence or if you're coming, come to that breakout room and we will answer any questions that you have about the Sedona event. It is June 10th through 12th. And as Katie beautifully said, on the 9th, we're going to have a welcome dinner that's optional. And then we're going to have the celebration for the PATH graduates, their graduation. The page where you register is up and running and in good shape. So please go on that page and register, join us. And I think, Joseph, you might have had something to say.
Yeah, you'll notice on the page, there's something called an expanded experience. So one of the things included in that expanded experience is a pulse reading, and that would happen during those 3 days of the actual gathering. So, and a plethora of other wonderful bonuses and gifts and things that come with that expanded experience. So that is an option. We also hope to have a meal set up and running. So there'll be 3 lunches and 2 dinners where we gather as a community. And, you know, as Dr. Clint always says, the wonderful things happen in the breakout rooms in this Zoom setting, but the experience of being together and as they say, breaking bread together and hanging out together and sharing together, that's where the magic is that you cannot experience over these little tiny squares on your computer screen in front of you. There's something about real life and being there now and having support for our vulnerabilities and sharing and going to those spaces that sometimes are challenging but unbelievably rewarding. And that's where we will have an experience in Sedona. So please join us.
Hi, everyone. Hello, I'm Devananda, and I must first say that I felt very honorable to be here when I was contacted to ask some questions to Carol about her story, because Carol for me is an example, what do you call, you know, people that make a lemonade with the lemon they are giving in life. So in my perception, that's how I see Carol. And that's why I felt very honored to be here and have the opportunity to know more a little bit about the story of Carol. We never know behind people's face, what's the story behind what love have motivated them in life, how they overcame some challenges. You know, there are plenty of questions that go into our minds when we look at other people. And sometimes we have our own perception, but we truly don't know what they have been through. So I'm very curious to know some things. And I would like to ask Carol, you know, this beautiful face that is always on our calls. And today we will have the opportunity to know a little more about her. Huh?
Oh, thank you,
That's
Devananda.
exciting. What is one thing, Carol, that you like to open this and the purpose for this?
So this came about, I believe it was last Saturday. We were doing a group Marma session. And this is one that we do for those of you who are new here today, and welcome, by the way. This is our left hand that represents the past. And we go into this tinder spot and we build this red frame over our left eye, and we look at what is impeding us. What do I need to let go of? What's standing between me and my highest purpose? And boy, was I shocked to get this flood of emotions from 49 years ago. Oh my gosh, things that I thought were well in my past. And Cornelia, I put a couple of pictures of my husband and myself in 1975 just to, and imagine yourself, I think of some of the youth in the group and what they might be like in 49, 50 years, but do you have those just to show kind of where that is? And in 75, emotionally, I was really active in the Baptist church in my area, and I was a chaplain's aide at the state hospital, and my specialty was being able to work with children who had failure to thrive. And so this is my handsome husband. And in 75, we went to a Christmas party, and somebody says, this hateful woman says to me, "How does a woman like you get a man like that?" And so I had absolutely no ego whatsoever. I had no self-esteem. And these are my two children, Lizzie and Scott. And so in this time period, she was 4 to 5 and he was 3 to 4. And this is in Shreveport, New Mexico. And we had moved out of a trailer house that we'd been in for 3 or 4 years and into a house in 75. So the summertime in 75, I had a lot of fear because I was really ill. I have a genetic thing called Ehlers-Danlos, and I was going to have a total hysterectomy in July. And I went to check in the hospital for my pre-labs, and the check-in nurse says, "Who's your admitting physician?" I said, "Dr. Crawford." And she said, "Oh my God, did you know he died last night?" I was like, no, I didn't know. And so that hysterectomy got postponed, and I found a new doctor in December of 75. And
Hey, Carol,
went,
can I
yeah, you want to, sure.
can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you remember at the point when you get the news from the doctor? Do you remember getting that moment? What did you feel, or did you have any thoughts about it? You know,
With his dying or with the diagnosis?
yeah, his passing.
Yeah,
Like
I remember
in your
absolutely like,
situation.
yeah, how could this happen? I've got all these plans. I've got my kids taken care of. I've got, all these things. All my ducks are in a row. This is not convenient at all, and I was mentally prepared. It's just going to get this over with because, it was, I was anemic. I had, so yeah, that was my emotion was, this can't be happening. And so fast forward 6 months to this new doctor, and I said, "Do I need to worry about contraception?" And he said, "You don't have 1 in a million chances of conceiving with advanced endometriosis. And we need to get this hysterectomy, back on the schedule." And I said, "Well, my mom has some time off in February." And he says, "Okay, fine. We'll schedule this for February." So December, I was packing for Christmas. We were going home from Shreveport to our home in Odessa, which I hatefully call Slow Detha. It's a part of West Texas where there's no trees or water. And so when I'm packing, my 4-year-old daughter comes in. She goes, "Mommy, Mommy, Mommy." And I'm like, "I told you don't interrupt me." And she's like, "But Scotty's blooding all over the table." And my son had cut himself trying to put butter on a graham cracker with a butcher knife. So we had an interruption in the packing for a trip to the hospital for stitches, and I didn't pack any contraceptives. So then in January, I fainted at the grocery store and went by ambulance to the hospital. And the doctor said, "I got some, you're severely diabetic and anemic, and you're pregnant, and you need to have an abortion because you're not strong enough or well enough." I'm like, "I don't believe in abortion. This could be life threatening. You really need, And I'm like, "It's not a question for me." And so that unexpected pregnancy was truly a miracle because it was nuts. It was like, wow, this is amazing. So in February, my daughter had to have emergency surgery. She was 5 years old and had to go into hospital for surgery on her urethra. She also has Ehlers-Danlos. And I remember being really nauseous and sick, in the hospital. And then I decided to tell my family in February. And my dad was really in a horrible place. And he said, well, I'm going to send you money to buy a black maternity dress. I'm like, why would I want a black maternity dress? And he said, because I'm going to kill your mother and I'm going to kill myself. And you're going to need a black dress for those double funerals. So that was kind of where my family status was in February. My heart was just crushed with this. He was arrested twice for going into where my mom worked with a gun. And then in March, our house was struck by lightning. This was my first of 3 lightning strikes. And my husband had put up a CB antenna and didn't ground it. That lightning came down, blew a hole about 14 inches wide in the concrete, came through the aluminum wiring. I was at the stove with the stove on, and it picked me up off my feet and threw me backwards into the refrigerator. Knocked my 2 kids off to the side. That powerful strike of lightning molded the element of the stove together like they'd been soldered. And I remember seeing a white flash, and it was the foil going up, and that was around the drip pan going up in a vapor. This was an incredibly strong lightning bolt. My neighbor next door, this is aluminum wiring in Louisiana, had fire come out his bathroom vent. The other neighbor on the other side had fire out her iron and scorched her clothes. Took out 26 television sets. So this was an enormously traumatic event in my life. And some of you who are in the
Carol,
emergency force, remember I caught myself on fire when I was 10. So fire to me is like, okay, I'm going to take a breath, get Devananda.
Carol, by the amount of things you already told me, I'm wondering if I'm in that situation, I'm already asking, where is God? Or where is support from my family? Or who could I get support from? Because how old were you at that time?
25.
25. So we all know that 25, what level of maturity we have, right? But an experience. But what was your support at that time, if you had any? I mean, maybe your husband?
Yeah, at that time he was pretty supportive. He was he got a promotion, which we were really excited about, to get to go move back to Odessa. He was going to be a store manager. However, he went out drinking with some of his coworkers and was bragging about once he got back to Odessa, he wanted to go in business for himself. That information got back to his boss and he got fired. So now we're getting through this, trauma of the damage from the fire, and now he has no job. But somebody he worked with said, let's start our own business in Hobbs, New Mexico, where my wife is from. So the decision was made that we're going to move to Hobbs, New Mexico. And so that was a very difficult move. And I found myself July the 4th living in a home that had belonged to the mortician. It had holes the size of fists stuffed with plastic gloves. The bathtub was so nasty. That's where they soak parts to motorcycles in the bathtub. It was incredible. But that's what we could get for $30,000 in New Mexico at that time. And so July 4th was our move-in date. I had literally $3 to go get us a meal for our new home. So I bought a $1 box of spaghetti and a can of cheap tomatoes. And I remember cutting into those tomatoes and finding worms and having to just toss that aside and use them anyway because that's all we had. That's all we had.
Oh,
And then I went to see the doctor. He said, you're carrying breech. And my first child was also breech. And so that's put everything in a risk category. And so I'm feeling very alone in New Mexico, very impoverished. And when it came time to deliver my child, we literally had 38 cents between the two of us. We had no money, no savings. There's nothing. And then the delivery was really rough. It was there was no time for a C-section, and he had prolapse cord around his neck, and they thought that he was going to be stillborn. But a very wise nurse threw me on my side, put oxygen on me, and he was viable when he was born, and I kept saying, "Let me see my baby. I want to see my baby." And the nurse brought him to me kind of like this. And so I reached up and pulled the blanket down and was shocked to see that he had a cleft lip. And that was something that my heart I felt so guilty. I was like, this is my fault for taking Valium for my anxiety. This is my fault for all the stress and trauma. God, how could you do this? How could this happen? This is, it was when you see that, knowing that this is going to be a lifelong challenge, it was really, really hard. And I had a nurse come into my room and say, "You'll learn to love this child just like you do your others." I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You think you could love a child less because they're imperfect? And this whole time, I'm literally on my knees going, my God, why have you forsaken me? I've lost everything I ever thought I had. And now this. And so the plastic surgeons came in and said he needs about $10,000 worth of surgery. And I said, we have no money. We have no insurance. We have nothing. And so we had a social worker. And she said, New Mexico has a great program called the Crippled Children's Fund, and you qualify. I'm going to take another breath.
Everybody take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Let's send some love to Carol for now. Actually, we are receiving some love from Carol because it's a blessing to hear your story, and there are many learnings that we can take from this.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, a breath. It makes all the difference, just stopping to take a breath. So, the first week of school for my kids, I have a new baby, in a pram. I taking him up to school, and the kids made fun of him, called him little pig nose, and made my kids cry. And we got to where we just didn't go anywhere. We'd take, go to the store for me. I can't deal with this reaction right now. So finally, December came along when he had enough weight to go through surgery. And here's the miracle. Because we had no money, because we had no insurance, because we were living in the state of New Mexico, they have a very high incidence of cleft lips and cleft palates in the Native American indigenous peoples community. They have some of the best surgeons in the world for plastic surgery in Albuquerque, New Mexico. It was incredible. We had a British surgeon doing his internship who did the 5-hour surgery, and it had turned out to be incredibly well done. Now, that wouldn't have happened in Louisiana. I don't think it even would have happened in Odessa, Texas. But because we were at the right place at the right time with the right resources, there's a huge blessing in this. But it took me 50 years and release and let go Marma to realize that God had not forsaken me. There was a bigger plan unfolding that I just couldn't see because of my fear. There was no ego in any of this, but the fear that I carried, the anxiety that I had. And he had another surgery at 6 and then a cleft cyst at 14, and he had to have his face completely cut off because the cyst was around his mouth and his eyes. And he's gone through an incredibly difficult life, but I believe that these things happen for our spiritual growth. I think we choose this stuff before we're born. In the place where I am, I don't believe God sends disease. I don't believe he takes people and, at inopportune moments in death. And I don't believe that he causes things like lightning storms and whatever, because I believe these are things that we create for our own growth. And there is grace and there is love and there's forgiveness and all of this. But the ancient secrets have changed so much in me, so very much. And I'm so grateful to have this community around me. I'm so grateful to have Marmas to move stuck energy that I can look back and see that was a blessing. That was something that, turned out to be the right place at the right time, which is when I do what do I want? That's what I ask myself. So Devananda,
So
would you like
Carol,
to lead some people into
so
Marmas?
Well, you can do the marma. Yeah, I just wanted to ask the question because
Sure.
this is so beautiful story. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. So what I'm getting from it, and if anybody also gets that, is that I see that you've kind of been guided for the whole time, even though in our human eyes we see the things that happen as traumatic tragedies and all that. But when you start using the ancient secrets tools and you start working on yourself personally, you were able to realize and see and look back and see that you've been guided, that were not curses, they were blessings. And is that is that does that make sense?
Yes, yes, that's it exactly. That we just don't always see the big picture when we're in the fray of drama and trauma, and it's hard sometimes to pull ourselves up to see where this could be possibly going.
So is that when we are feeling overwhelmed, when we're carrying the heavy, anxiety and the heavy emotions, and we're living in patterns and all that, it's that when we cannot see that everything actually is being, I don't know everything, but for the most, I guess, we're being actually served by God, we're being blessed. But when we decide to take action to take care of ourselves, right? And in this case, for you, you feel that you were able to tap into this place of working on yourself using the ancient secrets. That's how I see it.
Yeah, yeah, that.
And I
And I was really surprised that, that's such a long time ago. But as you can see, there's still a lot of emotion around that. And so to be
yes.
able to change that emotion to gratitude and away from feeling abandoned and, forsaken, what a difference that makes in your heart.
Have you ever shared this story just as a whole like this before?
Not publicly, no. And
Not
it's a
publicly?
pretty private story too. I'm very sensitive that, I don't show pictures of my son Nathan because he's very conscientious about he doesn't like his picture taken for, reasons. And so I'm not sharing pictures of him today, but because I think that's, kind of an honoring of him.
Connecting to your emotions, how do you feel after you have shared this with more than 100, more than 70 people actually?
um I feel vulnerable, and I feel that maybe somebody else might benefit from my story. I hope that if you're feeling like you've been abandoned or lost, or that there's no one listening, that there is hope, there is love, and it starts with self-love. It starts with love thy neighbor as thyself. We have to love ourselves. We have to care about ourselves. We have to treat this self as a temple. And that was my third lightning strike. I had this little out of body experience, and the big powerful lessons were this is all about learning to love unconditionally. And when we pick dysfunctional parents, spouses, friends, workers, and they give us opportunities to practice unconditional love, it's a great gift. And the second one was treating our body like a temple. And that means rest, and that means meditation, and that means eating the foods that our bodies can handle and digest. And then the other one was seva, and how important it is that we give to others, but we have to also give to ourselves and be there for ourselves. So yeah, lightning is when I have little lightning storms, my pulse gets pretty high right now. But those are my powerful lessons.
I was afraid of lightnings when I was a kid. I would run to my parents' bed, in a minute. But I learned to like them at a safe distance, of course. I will tell you, Carol, I have incredible gifts. I don't know about anyone else, but I have incredible gifts, confirmations, um, sense of um, belonging to God while we were sharing your story. I could link to several things back in, even some similarities. But I would like to ask anyone to put in the chat, a gift or something they want to share when they heard Carol's story. Anything that came up to you, as you would say, is a gift for you. You know, please share in the chat. And after sharing this story, do you think anything has changed or released in you? Or you think just by continue doing the ancient secrets, marmas would get to a place where you want to be?
Yeah,
We also have the
I
marma,
shared
what
it
do
in
I
our
want,
small,
right?
yeah. Last Sunday I shared it in our small group. I said, after we had our group share, I said, I've got something really heavy on my heart I would like to share. So that's really the first time I had vocalized, but I went pretty fast and furious through it. As it was, kind of raw and unfolding. And so in the week since, it's processed more, and I've written down the things, and I've tried to make it a little more cohesive than the fast spew of these things that were all coming about at that particular time. And then I thought, I wonder what the world will look like in 2074, 49 years from now. What will it be like? It'll be interesting to see, won't it?
We also have the other marma. I don't want to rush anyone, through emotions or anything like that. But I feel that when we work on our past, we get in peace with our past. And it's kind of leaving a space for us to work on ourselves as well, right? Now I'm in peace with that part of the story. Now, what do I do, right? And then now I come to the marma, what do I want? Because I don't know always what I want. I know some dreams, I know some things, but what really deep inside do I want? And we have the marma. Carol or Katie would like to lead on the marma. What do I want?
Sure. So what do I want?
Actually, real quick,
Yeah.
before we go to what do you want, thank you so much. My heart is so moved. I'm so glad that I'm on this call today as a learner, and to gain from Carol your story, and then also Devananda, how perfect that you're the one interviewing. I don't know if I can just share a little piece. I know many people on the call know, but just the journey that you've been through, the darkness to the point of just feeling the gift of life, the gift of each day of life. And I think to do that, part of it is letting go of anything that's holding us back, letting go of fear, ego, letting go of trauma, and then stepping into what do you want. And so, Katie, I don't know if you'd want to guide, first of all, the let go process, but it just seems so poignant to do that first, to let go of things, and then to discover what do you want from this place.
Yes.
And it's so beautiful, even reading in the chat, like what people are learning, Carol, from you, that Cornelia says, yes, life is happening for us, not to us. Sybil, the gift in this story to me is the gift of hope and trust. Thank you, Carol, for your fortitude. Katie, what you shared, powerful demonstration that life happens for us. So many beautiful things that just from hearing each other's stories, we gain such beautiful perspective. I'm making the Hmong soup for the clinic right now. And as I'm doing this meditation, I'm just having so many things wash through me. And so thank you so much, both of you. And yeah, back to you, Katie.
Wow. Okay. So the let go, forgive and let go, marma, is your left hand with your fingers out straight, so kind of a 90-degree angle. And we're gonna, with our index finger or thumb supporting our index finger, we're gonna find that tender, even painful spot. Sometimes I have to move around a little bit. Usually it's right here. You'll know it when you find it. And we're going to press on that 6 times. If you know what you are wanting to forgive or let go of, you can put that in a red frame over your left eye. If you don't know, it doesn't matter. It's still these marmas work so deeply that it will figure it out for you. So we're going to press 6 times, and at the end we say, I forgive and I let go. So if you found that spot, let's press 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I forgive and I let go. Let's do that 2 more times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I forgive and I let go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I forgive and I let go. Okay, that hit something because I don't know what it got, but I'll be doing that some more today. Then after clearing that, we're going to take our index finger on our right hand and pressing with the tip of our left hand on the tip of your index finger. We're going to press 6 times, and imagine a white frame over your right eye. And if you know what it is that you want, you can visualize and picture that. If you don't know, then we press this point 6 times and just let something come to you. So we'll press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And I'd like to follow that with the self-love marma. So on your right earlobe, and with your thumb behind your earlobe, with your right index finger, we're going to press 6 times. And this is for self-love. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And for being honest and vulnerable with yourself, we're going to affirm ourselves by patting ourselves on our left shoulder over your heart 6 times, and then saying, very good or well done. And you can follow that with your name. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Very good. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Katie. I do some marmas in part of my morning practices, when I do my breathing and marmas, and letting go, of course, any time of the day that I feel there's something I need to let go, and I take my time, a few minutes, and then I go through that. Thank you so much. I want to ask Carol one more question. I didn't want to interrupt during your sharing, but you mentioned that you were doing a marma of let go when all the flood emotions came to you. Did you feel that before, or was that something new?
No, that was pretty new. That was like Saturday, a week from yesterday, that was happening, and it was like a motion picture, of just this and this and this and this and this and this, and I just realized, I hadn't really gone back to that time to look for the Aditi Devabhawas, the unexpected guest that came with those particular events that so shaped my life. And so that's another one of my all-time favorite gifts of ancient secrets is the Aditi Devabhava. For a person who was a project manager and likes to control, letting go of that control and saying, whatever's happening, I'm going to look at this as if it's a gift, and let things fall in their own space instead of trying to steer it my way. And then the other one that's been so powerful is Atmiyata. No matter how somebody treats you, respond in love. See them as one with consciousness. We're all one. And they're in a bad space. They're, maybe they don't have very many tools they can work with right now, but whatever it is, just to respond in love, and how that can change everything for us, and particularly in the world today where we can be crosswise with politics and world events, but to respond in love. Such a powerful gift in Dr. Clint's phenomenal
This
book.
Atmiata has been a constant work for me. But as Clint mentioned, I had also challenging times in my story. And the Atiti de Babawa, I remember one of the most difficult times in my own mind. Atiti de Babawa was something, it was daily training. Like sometimes it was over and over and over remembering and bouncing with Atiti de Babawa for thoughts that were coming to my mind, And I start being part, so Atiti de Babawa start being part of any difficult time or moment that brought me emotions that I would judge negative. I would bring up, Atiti de Babawa. What is the gift in it? What is this teaching me? So when I start opening my mind and my heart for that possibility, there is something good in it. So then the teachings start coming, and I start slowly realizing, and opening my mind for more and more, until nowadays it's way easier to see the gift in things. So yeah, thank you for sharing, Carol. Is there anything else you would like to
Yes.
add?
I want to share a little song that I wrote in the late 90s, I think it was, after A Course in Miracles. Now, I'm not a very good singer, but I'm a pretty good songwriter. It goes, I am at peace. Nothing can disturb me. My will is God's. God's will and mine are one. God sends his peace, peace and understanding. I am at peace. Nothing can disturb me. So are we going to do breakout rooms? Or does somebody else want to share a story about letting go of fear, ego?
I just want to kind of, knowing Carol now for nearly 5 years, coming up soon. I just want to share, as being her friend, a really deep friend, how much she has inspired me all these years with her living the principles of the ancient secrets, particularly the Atmiyata, whenever, no matter how someone is treating you, to show love. And she is constantly faced with that situation in her own family. And to be steadfast throughout that time, I have so much admiration for you, Carol, because you're such a beacon and example of what living the principles of the ancient secrets really means. And Dr. Clint was already mentioning that. And the way you are serving the ancient secrets community on a daily basis with all your knowledge, your wisdom, and knowing now even better, I hadn't heard all what you were sharing today yet. It's coming from that tragedy, from that trauma, going through all of that shaped your life, your wisdom, and you're sharing always from that experience of your own life. And that is what you're doing, is giving us the greatest gift. I know it wasn't an easy life for you, but we are all here in our life with a purpose. And for you, overcoming that and sharing all these gifts with us is the greatest blessing. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear friend. So much love for you. I'm so blessed. So blessed. Shifra?
Yeah, I was like just so moved by that story, and I think you were lying, Carol, because I think you have a beautiful voice. I loved your voice, truly.
Thanks.
And I would encourage you to sing. I think it was beautiful. Yeah, just I'm just kind of amazed at how you've handled the incredible challenges that have come your way, and it's sort of helped me because when I was leaving Sedona, I had this realization about my conception that could have been extremely traumatic, and so I'm sort of, it's just I had a sponsor who used to tell me, everything happens for me, not to me. And so if I look at things in that way, it's a very different thing. And in terms of fear, I admit to having a lot of fear because I've always been really afraid of Nazis, and there's a lot of that around now. And I'm not calling people names. I just think it's a reality. But I don't know. Somebody was saying, I was surprised. It was an interview with Trevor Noah and Ruta Benjamin, and I had trouble understanding how people could vote for a certain individual. And she said that wasn't a perspective she could afford to have as a Black person. She had to understand the people around her who were hurting her often. She had to understand their perspective. And I always been like, I just don't get this. And it just made me realize that I'm not going to change my value system or my beliefs about certain individuals and forces in our society, but understanding them can be very helpful, because if you understand, then you can respond. And I know I've been deeply hurt and I've done hurtful things out of that. And so if you can understand it, it can help. And I think this is what this community teaches. And you're just an example of great love, and Cornelia and Clint and so many other people, Nehemiah, Casey. I don't want to, not everybody, just examples of love. Thank
Yes, we
you.
know. Oh, thank you, Shifra. And it's awesome to hear you in a place where there's no anger that's visible, where there's calm and peace. You look beautiful. You're it's lovely to see you today. Thank you. Who was next?
Interrupted was next.
Oh, thanks.
Carol, listening to your story, I feel, I mean, I have gone through challenges. It just minimizes mine and just gives me more, strength listening to it. And, but I just want everybody to raise their hands and rub our hands and give so much love to Carol and everybody else who is in that place. That's why I wanted to do this for a long time, because this is what gives us, so much hope and joy. Thank you for sharing your story.
Oh,
Love you,
thank
and
you for
with
your
you.
love and kindness.
I love you.
Thank you. Ariana.
Ready
So
to go. Okay.
I might get teary because, Carol has only shared, I've only just begun to get to know Carol. I mean, it's been like, what, a couple of years. And I just feel like she's such a friend. And, she has only shared like this much of her stories. I mean, this woman has so many stories and has had so many challenges, many that I still don't know. We're just really getting to know each other on a deeper level. And it's so moving, to meet and know people in this community. And you are just a shining example of that, just like Cornelia shared. To move to, first of all, just see that there's such a bigger reason why we're here, and to go through, all these experiences to really become the best person that you can be, to really open up your heart and be unconditional love, and I just salute you for being vulnerable and sharing your stuff, and really the courage to move through. I mean, Carol's someone who is a freaking spiritual warrior. She moves through these experiences. She doesn't stay stuck in, you know, and we all go through how we feel on our journey. And then we get to a point and we go, there's something more here. And Carol has walked through these challenges and with her heart open, like, why am I here? What am I doing? And just expanding yourself. And it's just like Devananda said, which was just so great. This whole thing started off making lemonade out of lemons. And truly, I seriously just salute you. You are a spiritual warrior, and you stand for everything that all of us in this call are here for, which is unconditional love, which is what this community is. And it's just beautiful. And that's what I had to say. And I love you greatly. You're just amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Devananda, were you next?
Oh yeah, I'll do my sharing. Carol, I'm looking at Carol's picture here now on the screen. I see Master Carol. Isn't there a little master inside each one of us? And 2 minutes ago, while you all sharing, I felt an incredible desire to thank Dr. Naram, Dr. Clint, Dr. Vinay, all the doctors that dedicate their lives for this, to bring something so special that's it's so essential to life. Years ago, I was a very skeptical person. How come I would believe something like this work? You know, marmas, herbs, you know, is not taking a pill and expecting a quick result, but if you put the work on, the results are way better than you can ever imagine. So I just want to send some love to Dr. Naram and thank him so much from the bottom of my heart because of such a transformation. I see transformation in people. Shifra, you're so different from first time I saw you. Such a, you know, you conquering peace inside of you. It's so beautiful to see it. You know, all the other people here, there was a moment in life that I really needed this. I really needed this. I really needed, and I prayed to God to find the community people where I could connect with purpose, you know, that, you know, there's so much unawakeness all over the place, but there is a potential everywhere, you know, and it's brought to us by Dr. Naram and the ancient secrets, you know, one of the oldest medicines here is still available for all of us. Tap into it, have a chance, give yourself a chance. Thank you. That was my sharing.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
We have Joseph and Susan.
Excuse me. So I'm just so moved by these beautiful, beautiful shares and the wisdom that's coming out. And we're so blessed. We're so blessed, not only by Carol as our spiritual warrior teacher, ta-da, but by each of us. And reason I raised my hand is because I wanted to support each and every one of us, not to minimize or dismiss our own journey, that there is so much wisdom and so many things each and every one of us has gone through that makes us who we are today. So as you hear something so amazing, lightning strikes and everything we've witnessed and heard today and been touched by, know that that's also in your life and honor that. We have a big tendency in the United States to minimize and dismiss, and it's not in service to us or anyone. So that's just what came through me, and I wanted to share that.
Or to compare, it's not a competition. Oh, theirs is so horrible. You know, mine is nothing. You know,
Yeah, it's minimizing, dismissing.
It's everybody's real. And I just would share, I'm been reminded of this all morning of there's a Hebrew prayer. The short version of it is the Shehekianu, which is the blessing that I've been given to be here and to celebrate this moment. You know, it's the follow-up of all of our histories, all of our stories, all of our experience is what made us who we are and has brought us to this day for celebration and for purpose. And yet, despite everything, here we are.
Because of everything.
So what are you going to do with it?
So
Be
thank
here now.
Be here now.
Thank you.
Larissa.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Carol, everyone, for this call. You know, I almost did not make this call because I didn't have time to do my meditation, and I was debating, should I do my meditation or should I join the call? And then I looked at the Ascended Masters that I have pictures of, and they make me, it's okay, go to the call. And now I know why. It's really, it's heart opening to hear Carol's story. And I just wanted to say that I know from the Native American tradition that masters or shamans are picked by the spirit world, grand spirit world. And usually the sign, how they give the sign, it's a strike of a lightning. And so I wanted to tell Carol that you are a grand shaman. You're a grand shaman. You bring a lot of light to this world, and thank you. And I'm so happy to join this call. So happy.
So happy to have you here. Thank you. Beautiful. Nehemiah.
Nehemiah, yeah, we have a couple of minutes left. I know that Carol has to leave because she is actually going to see Dr. Clint, going to Austin. To the Pulse Clinic, so she is actually about to already, should have left already. Nehemiah, if you can make it short.
Yes, of course. I know you always will ask me because you know that I'm not with it. So I'm not showing my face for reasons I'll explain in the break room, and I show it. And I just want Joseph to sing in Hebrew what you said. It's so powerful. Blessed are you, the Lord, that makes us alive to reach these days. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. I spoke.
Thank you, Nehemiah. Carol, any final words before you go?
Just gratitude of the time, the space. Thanks to Dr. Clint for encouraging me to do this on the call today. Thanks for your sweet words and support. And I see some incredible things in the chat. I'm just so moved by the love and grace that we can show one another. And I hope that we're the microcosm of the macrocosm, so of people that can open their heart even though it's scary and frightening. We can always stop and take a breath. We can do marmas for anxiety, and we can get through by the grace of God. So thank you for this opportunity, and see you next time. I'm on my way.
You're on your way. Devananda, you get the final word. But we may want to send Carol off with some love and
I'm blessed to be
then
here
Devananda.
and be able to be a vessel for, you know, people, because I've been giving from these calls. I've been giving from the ancient secrets. So, you know, I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much. And thank you, Carol. That was incredible. Thank you.
I love you and I am with you.
I love you and I'm with you.
I love you
Robin,
and
do
I'm
we
with
have
you.
with you.
Love you.
do we
Love you and
have
I'm with
the
you.
I love you and I'm with you. אני אוהב אותך ואני איתך.
I love
אני אוהב
you.
את כולכם, אני קרל. I
Love
love you already.
Love you and I'm with you. I love you and I'm with you.
I love you and I'm with you.
you.
Okay, so we are going into the breakout rooms, and you can just share and talk about fear and ego, whatever comes to your mind, what you want to share today.